Hello, welcome back to Take Tennis for another video. How are you, Jack?
I'm very good. How are you, Liam?
Doing absolutely amazing. Today we're talking about Saudi Arabia, how they're going to buy out tennis. This is you don't agree with me on this, right? I feel there might
I
be.
Liam and I have slightly different views on this issue, which is why I think this video is going to be so interesting for you guys to watch. But you know what? Let's let the content speak for itself. Shall we get right into it?
Yeah, okay, here's Rory coming right up.
In this deal. But it's not Live. I think that's the thing. I still hate Live.
Yeah,
I hate Live.
yeah.
Like I hope it goes away, and I would
Saudi
fully
Arabia,
expect that it does.
Now,
different tours.
And I think that's
why
where
do we
the
mention this
distinction
clip
here
in the
is.
first
This
place?
is the PJ Tour,
If
the DP
you
World
pause it
Tour.
for me.
Just cut out
The
the part.
Saudis. Liam, no, I'm a good editor, bro. Back off. So the reason we bring up this clip is that the Saudis have put a significant amount of money into golf, creating their Live Tour, the Live Golf Tour, taking a lot of players from the PGA Tour and bringing them over. Now, this has risen a lot of issues with players like Rory, who you just saw, who are very against it, and players who are very for it. On the screen, Phil Mickelson, Ian Poulter, Dustin Johnson,
Because of money.
because of the money. And that's what's interesting. One of the players on the ATP Tour who was for this, Nick Kyrgios, spoke that he's happy. He'd like more money. He'd like to see everyone else get paid more money.
The difference is legacy versus money. Brooks and other golfers, they're receiving 700 million. They're receiving such crazy amounts of money that the PGA Tour cannot compete. And if you ask up and coming golfers or tennis players, if this happens, by the way, but up and coming golfers, do you want to join the Live Tour because this amount of money is getting joined in, or the PGA Tour, which if you don't do well, you're on the streets? They're going to choose the Live Tour. It's just money, and that's ruining, for me, the way golf is, because it has a way of functioning of the majors, the feel it has, and now it's going to just some country who's just paying a lot of money just for some players, which now they have 20 and next year will be 100 to just play on.
They have significantly more than 20 players.
No, but I mean from the PGA Tour. From the PGA Tour. I feel so. Look, in the next gen ATP finals in Saudi Arabia, it's coming up. Do you know why it's in Saudi Arabia? Because they bought it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's how every location gets the ATP finals in their, in their country. They got to buy it.
I know, but the thing that's going on is they didn't only buy the next gen ATP finals. They bought the ATP finals, and Saudi Arabia is not a big place for tennis. Like,
but they're becoming a place for international sports. There's an F1 race there. They're hoping to build another track and race there.
Because of money.
MotoGP races there.
So what
cash
you're saying,
is king. Cash moves everything.
I know, but that's obvious. You're just saying that like it's not going to affect anything at all. You're saying this does not have no effect on tennis.
It will have a massive effect upon tennis, but the issue is they've bought the finals.
What effect will it have?
Next gen?
What effect will it have?
I don't know yet, because we haven't seen it. They haven't played the tournaments there yet. I don't know whether they want to try and buy into, because of course they sponsor tournaments. There's Saudi companies that sponsor big tournaments, and they have 250s there and 500s there.
Afraid. Even the next gen, even the ATP finals, which are coming up. Like, I'm afraid that they're getting on the big tournaments. What's going to happen? What's going to happen, like, in 20 years? Will there be majors in Saudi Arabia?
The Saudis have made no move to try and change tennis like they have to golf.
But you don't. Do you have that fear? Do you have that same fear?
No, because the Americans have done that with tennis, with UTS. UTS is the only thing that's changed tennis to be like the Live Tour.
I'm sorry. UTS is a small exhibition tournament where they invite 5, 6 okay players, okay?
Because they invite, it's like 12 players that are all actually very solid players. If you look at the last tournament, stacked lineup.
The D Harib Open, which was an exhibition that goes, I think, before winter, I think is.
A little bit.
Rafa plays in there, Andy Murray plays in there, Rublev. Plenty of exhibitions are stacked. This is the only time we've seen an event from the ATP Tour get bought out to be hosting their country, not now, but for years to come.
That's what Turin did. That's what Italy did when they bought the next gen in the finals for 4 years. That's the deal they bought.
But the patterns that they're forming, Saudi Arabia, is not like what Italy.
They want to get more involved in sports. This
So you
is
just
clear
feel
to
it's
me.
just gonna be like any other country doing it, right?
Any other country could do it, but they're doing it because they have plethoras of money to do it. The question isn't the question for me right now being put in front of me is not whether or not it's a good country to be doing it. It's are they the country doing it? Yeah. So there's nothing to fight against unless the players want to boycott playing there.
I would boycott playing there. I would
Well, then there
boycott.
you go. If enough players do, it's happened in other sports. F1 drivers not wanting to race, they don't race. You know, basketball players aren't going to play, they don't play. So if enough tennis players stand up and have a problem with it, then they're going to have an issue.
So for the next in 5 years, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to be? What can you conclude from what we know now is going to happen?
I mean,
You don't know. I know.
I'm like,
No.
I mean, if anything, I'm not afraid of it. If you want to talk about the issues with their human rights, their laws, their political views, that's different because that's where the money comes from. But in terms of it changing the sport like Liv did to golf, I don't see it happening. I don't see music being played, people moving around in stadiums, and I don't see it happening.
You think that could happen to tennis?
Oh, it's happening to tennis. That's what UTS is. But UTS is very tiny.
It's not a serious event, but continue.
Yeah, but you know, the Saudis have bought an ATP sanctioned event. They're working within the ATP system. They have not gone out and tried to make their own league, their own rules, their own everything. They're working with the ATP.
Quick question. What country has a worse reputation than Saudi Arabia in sports?
I don't know. Depends who you ask.
No. What do you think? I'm asking you. No one. No country.
China, maybe.
China
they dope a lot of their players and give them drugs. That's what they did to Yao Ming. That's what they did to
failed, just like Russia failed.
Yeah.
China's football tour failed.
So if they failed, then what are you so afraid of here?
Saudi Arabia is not failing. Football tour. They've
taking the soccer players, but have they changed soccer? Have they completely revolutionized soccer? No.
It's just started. That's what you're not getting. This is in all sports.
I'm aware.
Football getting the best player. Saudi Arabian golf getting the best players. The last, I think, the PGA Tour champion, they took them. Smith, right? In tennis,
right?
You're telling me they're going to stop at just two little things and they're not going to do anything else?
No, they're going to want to host more tournaments. That's obvious to me.
But it's a question of time before they go from hosting the tournaments to owning the tournaments to choosing where they're going to hosting the next slam, going extreme pace.
I don't know, though, because the ATP is run and owned by Americans, and so is the WTA. So do I think that the owners of the ATP and the WTA can be bought out with money like that to sell out events? I don't think so. That's what I believe.
That's what I thought.
I also have a firm belief that money moves everything, so it very well could happen. But that's 5 to 10 years out in the future. I can't project that.
I can project that in 5 years, Saudi Arabia will be coming with hundreds of millions of dollars. We'll say, you know what, we have a tour just as good, if not better, than the ATP. And we'll say, you know what, Sebastian Corda, do you want to come in? You haven't been winning too much. Come in, just like they did to Brooks. Do you want to know what? You're having a tough time, Alcaraz. You're winning everything. We're going to give you a $700 million contract, just like we offered Rory, which he didn't take it. And you could come in and play with it. You won enough. And then
sure.
We're going to have, and you're fine. And I'm putting the situation at you, and you're acting like
this
is
because they've openly said that they want to pay the players more. They haven't yet. I say yet, because I don't want to start making judgments and assumptions.
Can you not?
They have not mentioned that they want to create their own league. They mentioned that they want to pay the players more. Not that they want to create somewhere else for the players to play.
The issue we have, Jack, is we're just at the start of all this, right? And they've done all this in football.
Right? But you can't. You see, I don't like to function upon assumptions of stuff, right? I want to see it finally get put into action. Once it gets put into action, happily I'll go over to your side. But right now, I see them as trying to help tennis as it is because they've said nothing different.
I know, but okay. You're right. They haven't said anything different. Sure. And fear is driving this argument and credibility is driving this argument. I don't see.
But there's no credibility driving. There's credibility driving my argument. There's logic driving my argument. The fear is driving your argument.
So no. You can say fear is driving my argument, but you cannot say that they have not done. I have no right. If a monster comes in, kills 2 children, what's it saying he won't kill the third? Oh, because he says, oh no, I'm going to feed the third with the best food. I'll be nice to this guy. But the other guys are okay. You're just saying this guy's like, it's a good situation. This is not bloody good. I don't
The
trust
Saudis
it.
have, okay, so here's the thing. So the Saudis have had their own soccer league for how long? How many years? 10, 15, maybe? I don't know offhand, actually. So I don't know. But
Yeah.
they're bringing players over. They're playing soccer. They're qualifying for bigger tournaments. Like I think that they're
Okay,
finally
now
qualifying
you're
for
making it
UEFA
sound like
tournaments.
good people. Okay,
Huh?
I'm not saying Saudi Arabian. I'm saying now you're making this organization of what they're doing with sports sound like it's good. So I
I'm
have
just
no
rationalizing it.
problem with Saudi Arabians. I have problem with the organization that's buying out sports. They bought out the best players in the
PIF?
world, and their level in Saudi Arabia, just they're taking away tradition. I don't. I for me,
Yeah, they're taking
nobody-
away their tradition, which is, but that's not the issue I have with them. I have other issues with the Saudis. I have plenty of them.
like
But human rights, biggest issue I could have with them.
my mom went over there.
They're disrespectful. I'm not a fan of this, but this is not for me to get political about. This is sports.
Annoyed about it.
When sports and politics have blended, it's never gone well. When everything gets politicized, nothing goes well.
They're the same thing because at the same time, sports washing. Hitler did sports watching in the Olympics when he wanted to make them. Same with a lot of other political leaders. They use it to say, "Oh, we support this, so you should
Yeah,
support."
because it's a means of media and propaganda.
But they've used it for so much time that you cannot say they're the
course they
same
have.
thing, similar. You know, you cannot
But-
say
but
sports
they're
washing has not
different.
happened for years and political views have not been expressed for years. But when they don't convey, when like so obviously going out there, oh no, it's bad. Oh
Yeah,
wait,
but the moment sports became depoliticized, which was from what? The 80s to the mid 2000s, we saw the greatest players in every discipline ever. Swimming, Phelps, golf, Woods, tennis, the big 3, racing, Schumacher,
it's still happening.
everyone.
It's still gonna happen no matter who's doing it. It's politics will be sports no matter what happens. It's part of it. You can say that the optimal results will be better without mixing them, but they're always
Well,
going to be.
politics will be in sports. I'm talking about literal governmental politics.
They're also always going to be in sports.
Of
They're
course, they
also-
always will be.
You can see with Ukraine and Russia right now. You just look at them. And by
Yeah.
the way, the ideas of Russians having the days Ukraine, the ATP tour did not let people or anyone who was from Russia play or Belarusia if they did not say they supported. They did not support Putin. Or last year, they just didn't let Russians play.
No, they
That's
didn't.
politics for you.
It is.
And
That's
and then
how
you say
sports
can't
are.
do that. And it's happened so many times. Same with right now, you go to other sports and they're doing the soccer, they also banned. So you can't say they don't mix. They mix.
No, I'm not saying they don't mix. I'm saying they shouldn't be mixed.
So
I think it causes problems.
So what do you think that has to do with the Saudi Arabians?
Well, right now it doesn't, because it's my belief that I don't think they should be mixed. I think they should be kept separate.
You think that it's just going to be another entity to come in, do nothing, say, oh,
I don't know
you
what's going to happen. It could be that. It also could be what you're saying. But neither of us have any grounds for it, because if you go and look anywhere and try and find news about the Saudis doing all of this stuff, it's
grounds for us. You have to make them because, you know, if you go to football, when this was happening in football, I'm a big football fan, and or soccer, some say, and here over in America. If you look at them and you look at them play 20 years ago, you're like, oh, the Saudis guys, they look very nice. They're making their own league and it's looking very good. But just a start. They never made those inquiries. We have to make them now. By the way, the only country I'd be worried if they did the same thing was China. If China did the same thing, and by the way,
China has their own league. China has their own basketball league. They have their own soccer league.
No, but proper league, which they could do if they wanted to.
They have their very own proper league. NBA players play in China.
No, not NBA. I'm talking about tennis. They have their own tennis league over. They don't have it. They don't have a proper tennis league. They could buy out players very well if they wanted to, and they choose not to. You get Bublik and Minoit Pair and say, "We'll give you."
But it's a new thing. There have been many golf leagues which have been created. There's, that's just a part of golf. There's been DP. There's been the PGA. There's a lot of things. In tennis, there's only been 2 major tours. There's been the ATP and the WTA. in soccer, there's been many leagues that have always been created. That's a part of soccer. Every country, every continent has their own league.
By the way, it's very controversial topic because we're just at the start. I just feel we have to watch out because
Absolutely.
we know nothing, and that's worth knowing. We know nothing about the situation, but in a year we will. In a year, we'll know exactly what's going on and exactly what can happen. And my question is, will it be too late? Because once they start sending those offers out there, before anything happens, if we start saying we don't want Saudi Arabians making leagues and all that, and everyone starts pushing that out there, nothing will happen. If nobody did with golf, when Liv was just showing up,
If enough people angry, then eventually you'll stop stuff from happening. It's true.
Yes, you
But
have.
Here's the thing. I think players will take the offers because they're greedy. That's going to happen. It's making sure that the fans don't support the events.
That's exactly what I'm saying. With Live Golf, what happened? No, the opposition happened, but it was too late. The fans are ready. We're supporting Live events, and if you go on it, everybody's like Live and the PGA, and they're seen as two happy families. You know.
Well, now they merged together, and they're creating one tour, and the DP has joined them.
But can you really say that? What's the reason? Okay, tell me. What's the reason PGA? And if you don't know, I'll tell you. What's the reason they merged?
Money.
Okay, because they don't want two separate entities running golf. That's the reason.
No, because they want to protect their name.
No,
right?
Well, okay. My opinion on it, and I don't want to get into golf, but it's because they don't want golf breaking up, right? They don't want
golf is already broken up. They're trying to unify it again.
So they're giving access to some of the players to play bigger tournaments. Okay, and by the way, tennis actually, and I say this with all the kindness in the world and my love to tennis at heart, is broken.
Right now,
we have 4 different Grand Slams run by different entities. We have ATP events. The tennis TV, who owns all the ATP events, they don't have rights for the coverage of Grand Slams because they don't own them, right? Tennis now you go to Tennis Channel, they coverage so just separate. They all have different agendas for what they want to do with tennis.
Of course,
and with golf, it's starting, and maybe Saudi Arabians actually taking over the tour would be something good for tennis. And that's worth another video to comment on. But I love tennis the way it is. I
have to agree. The traditional nature of tennis is something that it's part of its identity. And losing it, like it has for golf, has popularized it a little more, which I also have love for. Because you love to see people taking love and care to your sport. But you wish it could be more in the manner that you enjoy.
Yeah, but they're not really gaining more followers in golf. They're not.
But they are.
Okay, more people are watching the events.
That's more fans. They're getting people out to watch golf. They find interest in it.
There's 2 sides, and one side, and right now they have all these sides. Oh, everyone's competing to watch, but then one side will slowly start falling, and this big side will have less viewers. That's my only point. You don't have 2 giants in the same cave for a long time. One giant and
you can't.
the other one.
Well, that's what happened with the NBA and the ABA. They merged together.
Now the difference is with football, and with all these other sports, they're unified. Cricket is unified. Football is unified. Like you see them, like they're all one entity.
But here's all I can say. What's to say golf now it's becoming unified? What's to say tennis might not just follow the same pattern, become a unified sport once again?
We will see. I disagree. I do not want Saudi Arabians touching this sport. And I don't want anyone owning it, no matter from what country they're from, because I want tennis to prevail. But this has been great to talk about, Jack.
Absolutely. Very interesting issue. It's polarizing. It's new. And it could very much so go either way. We don't know. But we want to make sure that people are aware of what can happen.
The future tennis is on the line. And we have
Indeed
to
it is.
Okay. Thanks for talking, Jack.
Wonderful. Absolutely.
Great. I'll see you next. See everyone in the next video. Remember to like and subscribe. And remember, if you want to hear Jack say tremendous one more time, hit the like button.
Wait until the next one.